Wagwan, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it is.
What it is, what it does, big man. You're alive and kicking.
Yeah. Can't complain. We are live. We are right. This is the last episode. I'm recording from my current base. Next week we'll be at the new base. Actually, now that I think about it, I might not be available next week, but we'll see.
Guys, if there's no podcast, at least the people now already know what.
No, listen.
They mustn't DM me.
Pull up. That's my brother right there, man. My long lost brother. We discovered that again yesterday. Synchronized movie watching, but yeah.
That was some weird shit.
Honestly, because again we started watching the movie within 10 minutes of each other, which is mad. But hey,
yeah, that was.
Maybe conversations need to be had with parents, because yay.
Personally, I'm about to launch inquiries.
No. If Mtogo was as tall as me, then yeah, I'd definitely be like.
When was your dad working in city council again? No, like for real.
Wouldn't that be a scandal?
Because I know his dad worked the city council for a while, so I'm now just trying to see if these combos.
I honestly don't even know when my dad was in city council. Like, it was.
Uzwangabantu.
I know he was there, but I don't know when. You know, my objective was just to spend his money, not where he was getting the money. You know,
not where it came from.
No.
Hectic.
There was no auditing on my side.
I have every single trace of my father's places of employment since I was born. Like, I know where he worked.
Okay.
Yeah, there and there.
You should go work for Zimra. Kayani the talent. Yo, man, I'm recording the old way and it's so weird. But oh fuck, see, we're already going into different things. Guys, welcome back. It is another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And we're back again to do the things as usual. And I usually do this at the end, but I guess, it's better. Apparently, the experts say you should do it at the beginning. Pause the podcast, or if you can multitask, like the ting, retweet the ting, subscribe to the ting. Otherwise, we are inclined to believe you are a hater. So
it feels so different in the beginning.
Yeah, it does, because I was about to be like, said, I don't be like ladies.
I was ready to say bye.
It's like, wait.
Ready to say, do you see?
So shifting. Don't run away. That was an efficient podcast, eh?
That was quick.
These niggas are
2 minutes.
In and out, bruh. In and out. You go right.
It would be a very fun joke to just release a 2-minute podcast,
bro.
Like, the jokes would fly.
Yeah, I know.
Like, especially from the hands,
honestly,
that are used to receiving 2-minute things.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, it would be standard procedure. So it would just be like, hey, listen, so why are we doing marathons for people who aren't used to it? But anyway. Housekeeping, again, nothing much from my side. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Content is going to come out definitely during festive. I think we should do some vlog shit or whatever, although I suck at that. We'll record stuff and we'll give it to someone who knows what to do with that stuff. But yeah, that's it from my side. Mr. Moyo, from your side?
Ain't none. Shout out to everyone who read last week's IP Thursday. So the week before, I didn't post a thread, Mr. Maps, because my aunt was visiting. So I was being a tour guide person showing around Cape Town. Okay. So I just didn't get a chance to do it during the day. And then last week, Thursday, something came up, and then I couldn't post the thread. And then, dude, I got complaints from hurt individuals. 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, I was just 30 serious. I was like, but guys.
No, bro, stop charging us for this item, because
into Amahara
into Amahara, people get a bit too attached.
So
no.
What more if you guys were paying for it? You guys would want me dead.
Nah, honestly, when once it's a paid service, it's late.
I was like, thank God I'm not charging anyone for this, because it would have, because literally For context, last week Thursday I was ready to post the thread and everything, and then I made impromptu plans to go out for first Thursdays. So I did that, and then I just couldn't get around to it. It was still written.
So you were booting.
So I wasn't booting per se.
You're busy jiving, and this piece.
I was
holding the.
I was launched. No, I was launched.
Mm-hmm.
I was launched. I was launched. So I was literally was 6 in Tamba. Let's go out. I'm like, oh, well, okay.
So that person who launched you, we need to bring them to the podcast on a commission of inquiry.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter because eventually the next day, after you guys were crying, hey, what hey, thread, hey, daily dosage, like Wesley literally whines. Like when I don't post the thread, Wesley will come to me and be angry. Hey, you are now depriving us for 2 weeks now. I'm like, how late? So anyways, I'm glad you guys actually enjoyed the threads. So that was in a way it's heartwarming. So last week I did one on the blue Ivy trademark, Mr. Maps. I'm not sure if you read it, but it was a story that was in the news a couple years ago, that when Beyonce and JayZ had their daughter Blue Ivy, another woman, I think her name is Veronica Morales, in the US, she had already registered the trademark Blue Ivy for her wedding planning business. So by the time when Blue Ivy was born, JayZ had actually given an interview where he said, no, look, they're going to want to trademark the child's name so that other people don't just willy-nilly start merchandising off it, of her popularity, which is not allowed, right? So you can't do that. You can't just register a trademark to prevent others from using it. Right? You also have to have an intent.
You have to be using it
to sell something commercially and stuff, right? So that's what happened. So this woman then, when the Carters, as I'll call them, decided to apply for the Blue Ivy trademark, this woman opposed their application and said, hi guys, I mean, I already have a registered mark for Blue Ivy. Can you please hold up? So the whole thing went to court, back and forth. Go check out what happened in the end and the thread. It's at Tsanami Somoyo on
all platforms.
Well, for now it'll only be on Twitter.
How?
It'll only be
it was on
Twitter.
Instagram, isn't it? I saw it.
Well, I posted it on Instagram, but what happened is my highlights on Instagram are full
from
the
okay.
IP stories.
You still haven't
so
cleared
I can't add anymore. Yeah, so I think also just keeping them there on IG is a bit harder. So I'll figure out how to do it. So it's just there on Twitter. They'll be up for a week, and then the next week the new one will come up. So go check them out on Twitter. Yeah, that's all from me, Mr. Maps.
Maybe you should make an IG for IP Thursday.
Like where I'm posting them and only them alone. Yo, that's more work. It's more work.
How is it more work?
It is more work. Like already, like the actual posting actually takes time, right? So it'll take me. Someone actually once asked me how much time it takes to like prepare the threads and stuff. It takes about 2 to 3 hours of reading alone per week, and then the writing will probably be another hour or two. So in total, it can be about 5 hours before I've even posted, right? And then by the time I get to posting, which is on Thursday, I need to carve out 2 hours where I'm just sitting so I can copy paste onto the various social media.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how is it more work if you instead of posting on your personal Instagram, you're just posting on the IP Thursdays Instagram?
It also, you're not posting on mine.
Yeah.
So alternatively, instead of my personal one.
Yeah, so you just share it
okay.
on your personal one. You're like, hey, here's the share the post.
That's fine. But it can work. It can work. I've seen people do that. The only difference, what becomes when you have a curated page, is you lose the avid followers and readers who are on your original page.
Not really, because if the ones who are supporters of IP Thursday, right, when allowed,
if you just say I'm redirecting you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not like they have to do anything extra. They're just going, so they'll still click on your Instagram story, right, every Thursday. But then instead of 50 stories, it's going to be one that says, here's the thread. And then they click on it and boom, they're on the thread. You see what I mean?
Okay, so it'll be the same amount of time.
Yeah, so it's the same amount of time for you. All you're doing is taking one extra step to share the from the IP Thursdays account to your Insta account, so that those who, you know, really know, it's, even if they still come to Senamiso Moyo's Instagram, they'll still find it, right? So it's not like, oh crap, where is it? You know, they'll still see it, but then at least you can now control, and it doesn't have to clash with like your personal IG and then Auxilla space and this and that.
And I can actually make my personal IG private like yours, because that's the only reason. That's actually the only reason why it's not private.
No, keep it. You have to still keep it public, because again, people are gonna come from Twitter, land. So again, apologies to the ladies who are now hating me for Senna, taking his personal page private. But no, I'm not saying make it private. All I'm saying is put it elsewhere, put it on the side. Then it just makes it, and you can even do even more. You know the way Tinto does his page for Feeling Station on Instagram.
For the Feeling Station.
Yeah.
So what will happen is the IP Thursday one will be public, and then my personal one will be private.
Aye, you're still missing me. Because
I'm trying to get what you're saying.
No, but
Auntie, I'll now be posting them on the other thing.
Yeah, but when what you said was, at the end of the day, people come to your IG, right, to read the IP Thursday. So
correct.
You still need to keep it public, because then I'll be like, okay, let me go to Senna's IG, Senna Miso Moyo, okay, cool, and then click on your story, and then I'll see, oh, okay, it's on the other side. Yeah, well, and then I'll go there. So my buddy, if you close it, then what you said initially of like you might end up losing readers, because they're like, how
that will happen.
Senna has now made his item private. What's going on? You know what I mean? So maybe eventually you can make it private, but initially it'll still have to be public, so that people get into the flow of, okay, there's an IP Thursday Instagram page, then it's much easier.
Okay, no, I see.
Anyway, I don't know why we literally are just out here planning here on the podcast.
No, I was actually tempted. So last week, right, because I posted on Friday. Guys, Friday night I could have been doing other things. I decided, let me post the thread for the people. I was tempted to post it on Twitter and share on up. Then I'm like, I actually know, there's a pretty handful of people that read off Instagram and not off Twitter. Yeah. So let me do that. But the reading experience, guys, is better on Twitter, because on Instagram I try and make it shorter sometimes. Yeah, no, definitely. I've seen the differences in the threads. I think you can do more with Twitter and stuff like that, and Yeah. It's definitely more fun, in my opinion, on Twitter. But anyway, this is enough time invested in Senna's dreams. So So one thing I want to start with something funny. This will be super super quick, right? So you know how like there's this raging debate, not raging, but there's been this thing on Twitter of the dinner with JayZ, right? Dinner with JayZ or 500K, right? Yes. So I saw this funny ass video. Oh my god! I think I saw it too. The kid, right? That's the one. Yeah. So for anyone who didn't see, I thought I bookmarked it, but I guess I didn't. So I'll try and find it. Give them the context of the whole 100,000 or 500K and
So essentially there was a question going around on Twitter, which was, guys, what would you pick between getting $500,000 cash or dinner with JayZ? And then obviously the was smarter than everybody. People were like, nah, I wouldn't take the 500K. I'm gonna sit down and have dinner with JayZ, and I'm gonna pick his brain and learn from him and business contacts. Hey, wadi, those individuals. You know what I mean? So like that was essentially what was happening, right? And that was the general opinion from the people who were pro dinner. And then a bunch of other people were like, bro, take the money. Like, again, logically speaking, what's JayZ gonna tell you? JayZ is a legendary rapper, right? Turned business mogul. A lot of things have to go right for you to be a billionaire. There's a lot of things that have to go right for you. And again, also, you have to have the talent of whatever the talent of whatever, athletics, or school or basketball or rapping or whatever it is, right? You have to have a particular talent for something. And if you're just having yes, I'm talented in certain things, but again, I don't think a dinner with JayZ is going to change my life like that. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it could, right? It really could. But personally, I'm a cash and carry type of guy. So nah.
Like, people think there's some weird top secret thing that he'll tell you, and then that will all of a sudden make you rich for
like
life.
He'll bring you into the Illuminati and
give you some industry secret that no one else has.
Bro,
I mean, a lot of his journey has been a combination of talent, smart decisions, yes, and luck along the way, right?
Everybody has to be lucky. Everybody has to be lucky.
There's luck involved. There's probably things that he can't even explain, right?
Exactly.
I went from dealing drugs, and then I started rapping, and then boom.
Because even in his journey, exactly, you have to find a record label that believes in you, a manager who makes proper business decisions. Like, there's a lot that could have gone wrong, right? Maybe, like, it just didn't work out. He just didn't meet the right person on that particular day, and boom, we never knew JayZ. Right? So, like, at the end of the day, a lot of this really is luck and timing, right? Think about, people listening to this podcast. Think about where you are in life, right? If you deem yourself to be successful, think about how you got to this point, right, in your life. A lot of it is, you happen to be in the right place at the right time. You studied the right thing at the right school where you met a certain professor. Or, it's just like, if you just took yourself out and be like, right, Senna didn't go to Wits, he went to UP. What's Senna doing today? Maybe it could be even bigger things, or hey, maybe Senna, it's peak for the earth, right? So, like, it really is. Life is a game of choices, but what's not a choice? Money. when money is in your bank account, it's like, hey, come on, me 500K. I invest that. It's easily 400,000. In an investment portfolio. Simple.
One time.
100,000. The way we chop life. But like, anyway, going back to the original point. So this little girl, probably like grade 3, grade 4, something like that, right? Runs into JayZ. And what was the question? Like, JayZ, how do I become like you? Or how do I become successful?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, something along those lines. And then JayZ, I think like give me 3 things to be successful, I think is what she said. JayZ goes, you have to work hard. You have to be determined. Like, it was like the 3 answers were him saying essentially the same thing 3 times over
and over again.
And I remember,
and the one that killed me was, and you have to believe in yourself.
Exactly.
Like,
he was on this work hard tip. Essentially, JayZ said we all have the same 24 hours. Work hard and
exactly.
Work. Don't give up. Like, bruh. Like.
But that's the whole chat about it has been. So the people who always say, no, I'll take the dinner, is because, no, you'll finish that 500K and then it'll go and then you won't know what to do with it. But then, if I sit down with JayZ, he'll give me like advice on how to make more money and how to, make it, how to multiply it and how to make sustainable wealth and create wealth for future generations. I was like, bruh. Okay, give me the 500K, and then I will decide how to flip it and do all these things.
Exactly, I'll figure out.
So when JayZ came and said you have to believe in yourself, I was like, yeah.
That's literally what he'd say at dinner.
That's what he'd say at the dinner.
Dinner, meeting an absolute stranger, you don't even know if this person has, eat that thing, like, it's just like, bro, if I was JayZ, I'd pull up to dinner, Lawe chuck you some lines about, really, really, you got a good thing going, yada, 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 and then
believe in yourself.
Yeah, like, literally, that's.
I think one of the problems, he also doesn't even look like the kind of guy that you go there and you chill with.
Yeah.
And you can strike up like a proper banter conversation. Like, I think you'd get there, sit down with JayZ, and then because he's JayZ, you just wouldn't know exactly what into this kulumanga.
Half the time you're even starstruck. You can't even put your thoughts together. Like, and it reminded me of so I'll see Vusi statuses, right, where he'll go to I don't know, some right. So recently he was in Rwanda, right? And he, Vusi obviously public speaker, all this other shit, and people were going mad. So he started like reposting, like what people who attended that event was saying, like, oh my God, Vusi, like, thank you so much for coming. You've changed my life. La, la, la. Hey, wild shit, bro, like that. And then so I text him, like, Vusi, bro, like, are these those legit? It's like, bruh. And I was like, ha. Like people are proper, like this guy was dishing out the keys to success. And, and again, if you've heard of Vusi speak, if you watch any of his videos, YouTube clips, you can see
just search Vusi Tembegwayo on YouTube.
Yeah, like no. Like I respect the guy in the sense that like when he speaks, he has this thing. I don't know what it is, right? And I think maybe because you go to school for this, you learn how to speak public, like proper.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
And I owns by it, bro. But like CBD, if you think about it, it's like okay, he's telling you things that all right, cool, right? But he's not giving you the keys to the matrix. But it's making you believe that you can see the matrix. And I think that's very, very powerful at the end of the day. If you can harness that, bruh. Like, think about all these other podcasts. People who start quoting all of these people who have podcasts and books and shit like that. It's like, come on. Someone writes a book on how to game the stock market. It's like, you don't really game the stock market, But the way that the person speaks or the way that it's written has you believing that, oh, okay, I can do it. And but anyway, guys, long story short, take the 500k. Take the 500k.
Please take the money, guys.
Please, if I can find the clip, I'll put it in, and you guys can hear how ridiculous these responses were. And don't ever be that person who doesn't take the 500k because we're going to laugh at you. Right. Another thing, woke Twitter was wilding again, bro. I'll try and link it with your other Adam. I think we had a woke Twitter thing. Woke Twitter is just y'all niggas don't rest, man. Think Peace Twitter does not rest. Never. No days off.
Yeah.
I respect y'all niggas for being on the grind all day, every day, 24/7.
Shout out to all of y'all.
Yeah, honestly. So Uncle Waffles, yeah? Yeah. So she's blown up. Like, she's had a life-changing month. She had that clip where she was performing. Anyway, Uncle Waffles is a DJ. For anyone who doesn't know, you can just look it up on Instagram, on Twitter. Uncle Waffles. And she's a DJ. And she's really good at what she does. And, there was a clip of her at a certain gig, which blew up all over social media. She just got verified. So, like, literally, she was like... Yeah. That whole remember that chick who tweeted that tweet? What is it? Joy King, whatever that tweet, and everyone started.
Oh
tweeting. Yeah. At least, but except for that was the most random thing ever, right? I don't even know how the hun ended up getting like too verified because shit didn't make sense to me. But like at least with Uncle Waffles, it's like she's a DJ. She's doing a craft at a very high level. So I'm like, all right, cool, makes sense, right? She's doing her shit. The other one, I was like, Kanti, is it Justin J, which is so poppy? I don't know. But anyway, either way, whatever.
Didn't she get like a follow or a shout out from Drake? Something like that. That's what like made it.
No, that's Uncle Waffles, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what
No. For her, I get how she got to this point. I'm talking about the other chick, that other tweet, the Joaki Ing, the Adam.
Oh, Joaki Ing.
Yeah.
Oh, because people just started...
Yeah, I'm like, bro, so much because with all the mourners have gathered together, it's like, like tweets blow up every day, bro. But anyway, whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, in terms of Uncle Waffles, she's on. Like, I watch the videos. I'm like, I know, bro. If she was a DJ at a club, I'd be having a good ass time, because she, she's her energy is infectious, So I was like, cool. Anyway, so there was a dinner, or like, yeah, I think it was a dinner. Or an event that Ricky Rick hosted, I think last weekend. And then, Major League was there, Foka was there, all these, big artists in SA. Ricky Rick obviously was there. And there was like a group picture, right? That they were taking. And you know how like at these big events, like it's a million cameras, right? Cameras, people recording, flashing lights, red carpet, gonke, right? So Uncle Waffles was in a group of like probably like 10 guys. Yeah, let's say 10 guys, anywhere between 6 to 10 guys. She was the only woman in the picture. And these other 10 guys were like other DJs and Osbani, right? including Major League, and like, so I think it was just a bunch of, you know, the A-list DJs out there, right? I didn't recognize a lot of the faces besides Major League, I think, and I think Ricky Rick was there. I can't remember.
He was there
in that picture. So anyway, so someone is obviously rolling the cameras, and others, you can see the flashing lights from other cameras, which are, you know, actually taking pictures, and someone's taking video. And for a brief, like 4-second period, right? Let's say 2 to 4 second period, she looked very, very uncomfortable. And I think one of the twins from Major League had his hand around her, like her waist, right? When they were taking the picture. But again, in the 4 second span, she just, it was just like, she kind of didn't, she looked confused, right? So that face of confusion could have and was interpreted in a bunch of different ways, of which one of which was she just didn't look like she was comfortable or happy, or, you know, all this other shit, right? So obviously they take that bit. It was like I'd say maybe a 15-second video, I think. They take those 4 seconds, and then, you know, Think Peace Twitter's like, hey, really, this is what happens to hands in the industry. And, you know, so you can imagine what they ran with. Hey, she just looks so uncomfortable. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why is Bani holding her like that? Like, all this other shit, right? Like, it just started, like, you know. And apparently someone opened a space, because that's what we do now. So, like, you know, it was a whole, you know, kerfuffle, right? For maybe 2 days or something like that. Only to have Uncle Waffles come back to Twitter, maybe after those 2 days or so, after reading all of that. And apparently, because all the love and stuff like that, and some haters, obviously, because if good things come with haters, were just too much in the days leading up to that, she had her manager or someone manage her Twitter account. So she wasn't even tweeting for herself. But then she saw all of this, and she was like, oh, bruh. So she's like, no, you know what? Let me log in as me. And then she put out a thread saying, yo, this is to address all those people that are making up all of these conclusions. You know, guys, this is my team. They've been there for me since day one. I've never, ever felt uncomfortable. Like something along those lines. Again, don't quote me. Y'all can go find this stuff. It's out there. But essentially trying to set the record straight to being like, the narrative that you guys are trying to push is not actually it. Right?
Yeah.
So then, you know, that's out there. And then I went and read through those comments, and people were still like, hey, just make sure that it's really you. Are they forcing you? I'm like, no, guys. At some point, we have to be like, you know what, I will hold the L. We jump the gun, you know. And it's just like, and my I'll turn it over to you in just a second. My biggest issue with this was there are genuine instances of women going through that, and you know, those instances need, you know, that level of like kind of like criticism and support and all that kind of stuff and attention. But then when stuff like this happens, like where it's just like you don't even, you know, there's not enough information. It's just, again, you're pulling stuff out of context. It's a 15-second video, which is still out of context, right? And then you even make conclusions out of that, and now you've given those people, because again, you know, in the group chat we've seen, like when actual shit happens, big shit, right? Oh, Bandi was, you know, sexually assaulted. What do niggas say all the time? What's the first text that comes in the group chat? Like, oh, but we need to get all the evidence. Oh, but what happened?
We need to get all the info.
Yeah, we need to get all the story. And when stuff like this happens, those gents end up being empowered to see, exactly, this is why we say, hey, we need the whole story, hey, this and that. And I think it pushes back that whole, you know, the believe her movement, where it's just like, fuck. Like, you know, like if it's just going to be that's the default setting anytime anything like this happens, then that support that we need to give women at the end of the day, from my point of view, it's like, you know, you're not going to get that fully from, at least from the male side, because they'll still stick with it, and they'll use this as a case study. To be like, I want to remember that time when you were saying, hey, Uncle Waffles was being put in a difficult situation, A, B, C, D. You know, when some legit shit happens down the line that needs that type of attention, people are going to now be like, you remember that day, you know? And that's what is really, you know, frustrating about this whole thing.
Yeah. One of the things, and one of kind of my issues with I think probably social media in general, it's made us feel very empowered in a good way, yes, but it's also made us feel very entitled in a very bad way. So that's, I think I'll make an example in the sense that you may follow someone on Twitter and Instagram and all these social media platforms. Then you feel like you know them, right?
Yeah.
Now you feel like, that time maybe you haven't even interacted, but just from seeing their posts, you're like, oh, okay, nyamas. And then you follow other people, and then you maybe get an idea in your mind of what their life is like and all these things and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So we create our own little world a lot of the time where we claim to have an understanding of that person. And then something happens, and then because we've created this bubble in our head where a person exists in a particular way, and we're so entitled to them and their concern and everything, which is good sometimes. But what can happen is, I think we overdo it as a community, if that makes sense. So then what happens is you post a video taken out of context, you then project what you think and how you should react, and your particular concern in a particular way, maybe in a way which is not totally unrelated to the whole thing. I like how Uncle Waffles said, guys, listen, mina local kulumangako, I have no, it's not what you guys are saying, because there were so many different versions, and that's when you realize that a lot of people are projecting, right? Because you had the one person saying, they're going to take advantage of you in the industry, sexual assault, legit concern, but we don't know that's not what's happening. That is what was happening. Another said, they're going to take your money, you're going to not see any of the coins made from you, you're going to be a cash cow, what. I'm like, okay, fine. That's another different perspective. And there were like hundreds within the comments and the quotes and whatever. And I think all of that just comes from, we've gone to a place with social media where we're now over familiar, and now we feel like our word is the truth be all and end all, because I follow you on Twitter, I now know your life, I know everything you're posting, so listen to me, I'm telling you, that video that you posted, you're uncomfortable. I've said it, I've seen it. Ancho, you messing Kuluma, I know your life. It's now me talking. I've also have my experiences with which I can then, tie into this. You have a recipe for a whole lot of incorrect opinions, a whole lot of jumping to conclusions. I hate to say it, but people do jump to conclusions a lot. And it's not the first time, right? Someone could. Yesterday was a funny one, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw the video of Jeff Bezos, Leonardo DiCaprio, and his girlfriend.
When the girlfriend was meeting Leo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the video was. I saw it a lot of the time, like on the TL. Like I saw it several times.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't open it. But then I'm like, everyone's reposting this with jokes and they're saying things. Let me open this video just to see what you're going, right?
Yeah.
Now the clip is about 7 seconds. It's less than 10 seconds, I can tell you that. From that interaction, there really isn't much to go with this Kumenqinis. Like, there's probably a friendly interaction between two people saying, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
From
or
there,
maybe she was even starstruck, because people forget
she was starstruck.
Celebrities can get starstruck. Oh, I mean, again, she's the girlfriend. I don't know if she's also famous or not, right? Maybe let's assume she's not famous. Then if you're Bezos' girlfriend and you meet a movie star, come on, it's Leo at the end of the day. Yeah.
And you may just be, even if you're not like super starstruck or whatever, you might just be friendly and you just want to show manners.
Yeah.
Like, people do that, guys, out here. It's not everyone who's as cold as your Twitter thumbs. People are friendly in real life, right? So you can be there and be like, hey, what's up? Hey. And that could be the end. That was probably the end of the interaction.
Yeah.
The story that then ran, I know it was jokes and everything, but it's just an example, was how, she was looking at Leo in a particular way, and maybe she likes
I mean, that
him.
look, the look though.
Bro, it was just the look.
No. Listen, I'll stand up
was
for
just
Think
the
Peace
look.
Twitter in this particular point.
It was just a look. People formulated, and this is I don't know if this ever happened. I mean, I don't like to deal with my speculation, but people formulated a whole affair between Beyonce and LeBron based off, was it a picture?
Yeah, I mean, but again, yes, obviously, I think that's more bans, right? But like, I think there was one
It
even with
is
Rihanna looking at Steph Curry at one of the
true,
games, or was it Rihanna?
and
No,
and
it wasn't Rihanna. It was some other babe. She was wearing, I think, yellow and blue or something, like courtside. I
no,
think people people
it
know
may
this
have been
video.
Rihanna. I think there is a picture of Rihanna making some funny
Yeah,
face, but the point I'm trying to make is a lot of the time from these little snippets that people show us of their lives, I think we tend to run away lathi versus figure good points
Singothathekile.
with stories that are probably just on the face of it nothing.
So this is what I found the thread. So I'll mention part of it. So what she comes in, she says, I had mentioned earlier on that I didn't handle my Twitter anymore, but I'm back because of what's being said, and it's genuinely is getting out of hand. I just like to say my team is my biggest blessing in my life when it comes to my career. They go above and beyond for me, and the narrative that's being shared is so disheartening. They have never made me feel uncomfortable or treated me inappropriately. Neither has anyone else come into my life, and neither has anyone else that has come into my life. Everyone has respected me and actually showed me an incredible amount of love. Coming here and explaining how people who have completely dedicated their lives to helping me grow and guide me, show me love and encourage me, and actually carrying me through the turmoil of a blow up really sucks because of how it's made them feel. Everything being posted, being twisted and taken out of context. KK, I don't know what KK stands for, and everyone is my family. My moment is being stripped away because now people in my life who've helped me, believed in me, before a lot of people are becoming affected, even making my decision to go away, making my decision a few days ago to no longer handle my social media because I was becoming overwhelmed and hyper-focusing on the hate. And then she says, lastly, I appreciate all the love above else. I needed to clarify this. Those are my people who are part of my everyday and have held me down. Let's not touch that part. Even typing this with the feeling that it's still going to be altered sucks as well. Genuinely love my people. Or genuinely my people love me. Whatever. Yeah.
Between the two.
Yeah, it's that's essentially what she said. And it is, that's why I'm like, like she's the big thing right now. And it just, there's so many actual, and I don't know how you can balance it, because obviously, I guess,
yes, awufuna ukuthi in 10 years time abuye city guys, I suffered so much abuse at the hands of those guys, kwasha kwacima. But I think also at times as people, I think we read a lot into things and then we project. Basically, that's when you come and you write think pieces, and then Tabo comes and becomes very annoyed with you.
I think, my issue, I mean, come on, even we go back to that other tweet that where we people came for us, inadvertently, right? So it's just shit
no
like
one
that.
hit you in the chair.
Bruh, like shit like that to this day. I'm just like, bro, like, okay, we were basically used as the opportunity for people to grandstand and be like, right, this is me making my point about this thing, where it's like, okay, now the context, y'all really don't give a fuck about the context, right? At the end of the day. So like, imagine, if I randomly tweeted out, right, I want to blow shit up. And then everyone jumps in that tweet. Hey, Tap was a terrorist. Hey, Tap was this and that. Hey, call the police. Hey, this guy might blow some shit up anytime. How? Guys, shit is taken out of context. Obviously, they're not trying to blow shit up. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. Where it's just like, okay, yes, in an ideal world, if there's sufficient evidence for you to for you to come to that conclusion, absolutely blow the whistle. Everybody needs to know A, B, C, D. You can't let me do that, right? But like, also the other side of the coin is, like, usually there's not enough for you to go and reach and get to that point where it's like, But again, what's that balance? That's where, I don't even know the answer to that in terms of what is the right balance of trying to, make sure in this context women are protected, right? And they feel
When there's
safe
enough,
at
I
all
guess.
times. But
I think
who makes that call?
No, you can
What is
show
enough evidence?
I think you can show concern as I hope they're treating her well. I think there's a difference between I hope those guys, as much as she's surrounded by whoever, I hope there's no exploitation going on. I hope there's no assault.
Yeah.
I hope things are going well for her. Send well wishes and maybe tweet and hope. I hope it's going okay.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Manufacturing an entire story.
I know what them niggas are making her sleep with them, and what it's like.
There was another one where someone even said, I've forgotten where I saw this, man. Someone tweeted Uti, yeah, those guys just want proximity to Drake. I was like, Usufika njani there? How did you arrive to that one?
And at the end of the day,
it's a very interesting conclusion.
I haven't seen it, right? But I don't think it's a case of Drake is trying to be homies, right? Drake is also allowed to follow people that he finds interesting. So if for example, Drake stumbles onto an IP Thursday, follows Senna for IP Thursdays, then it's like, hey, okay. So Ulokuzin Tab was just trying to be close to Senna because
I hope he's getting his royalty.
Like, bro, it's just guys. Like, let's pipe down. Anyway, I think every week we should have our woke Twitter segment because they're the content that keeps
What's Piss Twitter going on about today?
Yeah, no. I think every day they give us content. But let me see. Like, let's move on to your page. Zim was popping, Major League left, and then Somizi pulled up to Zim. What does he sing? Is he a DJ? What does he do?
So Somizi is more like an entertainer, bro, more than anything. So
yeah, but what does he do? What's
he used to be a drama actor. I think that's how he got his break. But his big thing has always been choreography. So he made a lot of money and got famous from behind the scenes work, like dance.
But what was he coming to Zim to do, right? So like Major League is coming, it's music, right?
Yeah.
Sahara is coming, she's singing. Like this is like, okay.
Yes. So
what was he coming
over the years, Somizi is branded into like a multi-talented entertainer. So he does a bit of everything now. So he's a judge on Idols. He has, I think more specific to this, he has a cooking show on DSTV, right?
I've seen that.
It was dinner with Somizi. So I think he was coming to Zim to launch or to an opening of a restaurant, and because obviously he's Somizi, right? I think he's got a lot of clout. Yeah, he's got so much clout, so many followers. He's like one of the biggest celebrities in South Africa. He trends. I think Somizi trends on Twitter every week.
I mean, he's out there. He's like Zodwa levels of out there.
Yeah, he's out there. Yeah. So what then happened is, news came. What? Somizi's coming to Zim to open this restaurant. Because obviously he's got the dinner with Somizi thing. Yeah. Restaurants are trying to, if you align with his brand and you're a foodie or you've got a restaurant or whatever it is, it'll pop. Like people coming from SA or even outside the continent, when they're coming to Zim, they'll be like, I saw this on Somizi's page. Let's pay your restaurant to visit. So news reached Zim that Somizi is coming. In the true style of our people, dead set on embarrassing us after another embarrassing week after the whole Major League thing with the police.
Embarrassing week for H-Town, get it right.
So news breaks to ZANU-PF Youth League and the Apostolic...
the Youthies.
Yeah, the Youthies. And the Apostolic Church of Zimbabwe, and they're like, no, look, Somizi's gay, we can't allow him in this country.
Oh,
bro. So they actually wrote to the president. Like, I don't want to read the actual letter because I think this is how people now end up cutting it. Basically, try But long story short, they wrote to the president saying they don't want him to come to Zimbabwe because he's gay, etc. It goes against the constitution and it's a danger to the Christian faith. The ZANU-PF guys are obviously saying it's a danger to the votes. I don't know how. And which was unfortunate for two things, right? So the first thing is, for Zimbabweans living in South Africa,
so they didn't allow him in.
No, they didn't. I don't even think he bothered.
Wow.
Trying to come, because after news broke that he's coming, they're already sending letters. So I don't think he even bothered flying to H, or if he flew to H, he probably flew back, whichever way. But yeah, what was unfortunate, I think the first issue is a lot of people are then saying, yeah, as Zimbabweans, our constitution doesn't allow this, send him back home. Now you can imagine in that very
same. Is
this
still
week,
in the constitution?
I don't know. I think so. I've never really taken time to look at it. But if it is, then it's archaic as fuck.
Wow.
So in that same week, there were municipal elections in South Africa, right? And one of the leading issues was dealing with illegal immigrants or foreign nationals living in South Africa, mostly Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
So the moment that happened, and they were saying, send Somizi back home, our constitution doesn't allow, you can imagine what South Africans said about that. But okay, no, if that's the case, then you have your 1 million people, a lot of which are undocumented, some of which are criminals, some are unemployed, some have taken over buildings. Also send them back, because and you guys are also enforcing your rule of law, we should also enforce ours.
Yeah.
So that put, I think, a lot of Zimbabweans in the diaspora in a very awkward situation, where it's like, come on guys, we're already fighting for our survival here. Like, don't provoke these ones. Come on now. But the big thing I think for me was then obviously Somizi wasn't allowed in the country.
Yeah.
I feel like, come on guys, we're in 2021. It's not like he was coming to Zim to turn your children gay. It's not like he was coming to host a gay conference. He was just coming for
the gay conference.
Yeah, it's not like he was coming to say, yes, convert from heterosexuality to homosexuality. Be gay.
Yeah, but even if
even if he was,
bro, just leave him. You know, those who pull up are those who want to pull up. If
right?
you know that's not your spillion, then it shouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean?
Even yeah. And fine, let's say the constitution doesn't allow it, right? It's not like he was coming there for those purposes. He was coming to do business. Yes. Literally to market a local business, a Zimbabwean business.
Bring money to the Zim economy.
Bring money to the country. So people who were like, no, he's gay, you should leave. I'm like, but guys, what does his sexual orientation have to do with you? And I think that's always the first thing that I think as people we need to ask ourselves, unlearn over time, because obviously I always say leaving Zim was good in that I got to learn, okay, this is why people do certain things a certain way. This is why people are more accommodating to certain things. And literally this one person, I think I was in first year, second year varsity, said to a whole bunch of us Zimbabweans, what does someone's sexual orientation have to do with you? How does it affect you? How does it bother you?
Yeah.
To an extent where you have to hold up so much hate for them. And no one had a proper answer. It was just like, no, our religion, culture.
Say, no. I can imagine someone's being pressed.
Like, and it's the usual stuff. No, our religion doesn't allow no constitution of Zimbabwe. Guys, come on.
No, honestly, this is complete. It's completely baseless, right? And that's what makes me laugh at the end of the day, because it's like, you know, that's a great question. Which is what were we talking about? Remember when we were talking about the Chappelle special, right? It's like at the end of the day, if this is affecting you, right? This is something that is on Netflix. It's not the government saying, right, this is APCT that's going to happen. This is something that's happening on Netflix. And if you're not about if you don't like Dave Chappelle, you don't like what he's saying, leave it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, bro, like, Somizi is not going to, and even if, like you said, even if he was hosting a conference, right, the gay conference, it's going to be hosted 10 November at, I don't even know, National Sports Stadium, right? At the end of the day, if the constitution of not even the constitution, if the people of Zimbabwe are so, anti-gay and hey, what, guess what? Nobody's pulling up to the conference, right?
Yeah.
And if you're smart, you'll take his money to hire a National Sports Stadium, pocket those sheets, no one's going to pull up, and then he leaves. And it was a big flop. So, like, at the end of the day, literally, the worst thing that would come out of Somizi's gay conference is that you guys got paid for venue. That's literally the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, guys, it can't be that. I want to buy a lamb. People are starving, bro. And
bro,
there's so many other things that need to be addressed.
What are we, over
like,
70% unemployment or whatever it is? I don't even know the numbers nowadays.
I don't even. I read a report saying 90%. I was like, what the fuck? And it's just
we've had rolling power cuts for almost 20 years now, or over 20 years. Like, literally, the electricity crisis has been going on for that long. There's
so
water
it really
shortages
has been 20 years.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Water
Wow.
shortages in parts of the country. No one's pressed about that. Or the moment a gay South African celebrity is coming to open a restaurant, promote your local business, we're now upset, we're writing.
We're virtuous.
Be virtuous about the things that matter. There's no water in half of Harare. No clean water, at least. Fix that.
Nah, there hasn't been clean water in ancient years.
Bro, like, there's so
been a
many
lot.
things. We've got a stadium now, National Sports, which isn't allowed to host freaking international matches. Like, National Sports Stadium, CAF wrote and said, it's not international standards. Zimbabwe has to find a new place to have its World Cup qualifiers. No one sat down and said, yo, guys, that's a big thing. Let's go to the ZIFA offices and write to the president and say it's unacceptable.
Exactly.
We've got so many more pressing things as Zimbabweans that this was really, it's a really not on top of being a human rights issue or human rights violation in itself, just the fact to which it has nothing to do with, it doesn't affect our lives, doesn't affect the economy. It's in fact, it almost promotes it in a way. Virtuous and you stand on a mountain or whatever. I never understand. I don't understand.
I wouldn't say. But anyway, moving on into the NFL, something funny happened. So one of the quarterbacks in the NFL, his name is Aaron Rodgers. So best way to describe it, he's probably like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
So he's one of your what can we say? Like, who's the best player in the Prem right now? So he's, if he's not Salah, he's a Lewandowski, he's a Benzema. It's like that level of play. Or
he's top 5.
Who's this French boy? Mbappe, right?
Mbappe,
Neymar, Konapa. That top 5 would, it's everybody knows who it is, and it's that type of situation. So Aaron Rodgers, at the beginning of the season, so all the US media were very, very curious in sports. Remember the beginning of the season where it was like, are you vaccinated? Who's vaccinated? Is the whole team vaccinated? Like all this shit was, and he called it a witch hunt, which it kind of sort of was. You know how the left can be when they're pushing the vaccination agenda. So then they really, people were being asked point blank, right? Are you taking it? Why not? Hey, what? So like, again, for the most part across the NFL, I think it's about 80 to 90% vaccinated. Again, I don't know the numbers, but it's pretty high. Yeah. Most teams were essentially fully vaxxed, right? With 1 or 2 people that, just they don't want for whatever reasons, right? And for those other players who came out and said, nope, I don't want to take it. It was a public thing. XXX doesn't want to take it. Okay, sharp, right?
Obviously,
everyone had their own reasoning.
Villainizing them in the public.
I mean, not necessarily, because the thing is, the media, like, you need to have your cash cow, right? So if Senna's not, someone that the public cares about, if Senna's not taking the vaccine, we don't really care. You get what I mean? Like, it's not big news. So for those other guys, those other players, you don't even read about it in the news. You know,
It's like
they're
if
just
Fred decides he's not taking the vaccine.
Exactly. If Fred says, I'm not taking the vaccine, I was like, you know, it's like, whatever, who cares, right? So with Aaron Rodgers, it's a big deal, right? So what happened, there was an interview beginning of the season. Season starts in September. So around August, there was an interview where they asked him, Chief, are you vaccinated? And he said, yes, I am immunized. Hang on to that word. So immunized. That's what he said. Okay. So I was like, okay, whatever. They move on, and then so he goes on. He says, yes, I'm immunized, and you know, I know there's people in the league. There's players in the league who are not vaccinated, and I don't think we should judge those guys. Again, pay attention to those guys. Those guys, right? So no, we shouldn't judge them because I don't judge them. You know, it's their right, it's their choice to do whatever. Okay, sharp. Fast forward. So the NFL has regulations for players that are vaccinated and players that are not vaccinated, right? So if you're vaxxed, you can have your interviews in front of the media, right? If you're not vaxxed, then it's Zoom interviews, right? So there's certain protocols in the team facilities, all this stuff, right? Don't need to get into that, but they have protocols.
So there's protocols for vaxxed and protocols for non-vaxxed.
Exactly. Separate protocols. Right. So this whole time, if you go by the protocols, Aaron Rodgers has been going with the vaccinated protocols. So his post-game interviews, you know, even like, so at the end of the game, you shake hands, the quarterbacks come across the field, they shake hands, you know, players, all that stuff. If you're not vaxxed, you have to have your mask on. If you're not playing in the game on the sidelines, you have to have your mask on. If you're vaxxed, you don't have to have your mask on, right? So all this is in the protocols. So again, by the protocols, Aaron Rodgers was following the vaccinated line, right? Jiggy, there's a big game this past Sunday, right? Kansas City is playing the Green Bay Packers. And then there's a report that comes out maybe on a Thursday, right? Before that Sunday. Aaron Rodgers is out for this Sunday's big game. COVID. How? COVID. So obviously everyone...
Johnny, bro.
How did he catch the vid? But obviously, you know, the vaccines it's not 100% prevention.
Yes,
so
true.
The next question...
It becomes unlikely, right?
Yeah, it becomes unlikely. And then also the second thing was the timetable for his return. So if you're vaxxed, the timetable for your return is much shorter if you test positive for COVID. So now the people are like, wait, the NFL is saying this guy is coming back in 2 weeks. But he's vaccinated. This doesn't make any sense.
So it should be like a couple of days.
It should be a couple of days. So now people do the investigations. Turns out how brother is not vaccinated.
Brother didn't do the things.
He didn't do the things. So apparently he did some like homeopathic, you know, some chakrahan, you know, procedure.
What?
Yeah. For real, look it up. So he did some procedure that increases COVID antibodies. Right. And also during the summer, he went to the NFL with whatever he did. And the NFL went to an external body to say, hey, can this be considered a vaccination? And that external body or, you know, consultant said SAT. If it's not Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and I don't know, Moderna, whatever it was, that person doesn't count as vaxxed. So on the NFL's files, Aaron Rodgers was not vaxxed. So obviously people pull up the receipts to that interview in August to be like, Chief, you said you was immunized. And it was now fucked up because everyone was now calling him a liar.
Semantics.
Right? And it was, and so he was trying to be slick with his words at the end of the day. So he came out a few days ago on a podcast to explain his side of the story. And he said, no, there was a witch hunt. Here, you people just wanted, you know, everyone to be vaccinated. And I just said to myself, you know what? Like, I believe that I'm vaccinated and that's enough. Something along those again.
he said that I'm vaccinated in spirit.
Because of the treatment that he got, he believed that he was vaccinated. So again, all this to say, you know, God has a cruel sense of irony because if he never caught COVID, no one would have ever known. And it was this past weekend was Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Or two weekends ago it was Halloween. He dressed up as John Wick, went to a Halloween party, zero mask. Really, it was highly publicized. And again, at its peak, bro. It was peak for that. So I found that to be hilarious.
So then,
at the end of the day.
what are the surely there's consequences to that?
Yeah, so apparently, so the punishment hasn't come out yet. So there's speculation on that, but it'll probably just be a team fine of $1 million or something, which again doesn't really. It's a slap on the wrist for teams
guys.
of that size, even for players. Again, it's not that big.
They'll probably give him like a young suspension,
I mean, he might not even get a suspension. So, the likely thing, he might not even get suspended because again, the NFL knew he didn't lie to the NFL. He lied to the public.
So the NFL knew the whole time.
Yeah. Until he went to them to say, I did this homeopathic injani. And then they determined to say, no, Chief, you are not vaccinated in our eyes. But he was like, fuck it. So to the media, he went, hey, Chief, me, I'm immunized. And he picked his words very, very carefully. So he's like, technically, I didn't lie.
The thing is different from NBA. So NBA, certain teams say you have to be vaxxed. Blah, blah, blah.
No. For the NBA, it's a state thing, right? So when we spoke about the Kyrie thing, the state of New York has a mandate to say if you're playing professional sports, you have to be vaccinated. If that's your home state, that's period. There's no negotiation. But I think Green Bay is in Wisconsin, and I don't think Wisconsin has that law.
Okay, understood.
So that one is a choice. Those players had the choice to.
So he has a choice to decide whether or not to do it. Okay. So it's not it's a force mat.
No, it's not a force mat. So if he played for the New York Giants, then it's a force mat. He would never have been allowed to play.
So he's fine.
Yeah, no. I mean, legally speaking, again, he didn't do anything wrong legally. He just lied to the public, and the media obviously is hurt because it's like
the left is shaking.
I found it hilarious. I was like, damn, bro, that's fucked up. Like, you really would have gotten away. It was a Scooby-Doo thing. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you. I found that to be absolutely hilarious. That made my week, bro. Wow. Niggas out here moving shady. But again, it's because he's a top 5 quarterback, right? Had he been some other player,
like I said,
would have been,
if it was Fred, everyone keeps it moving.
Yeah, it's like it's a 2-minute segment. Like you Fred, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, who cares? But then let it be Pogba. Ooh.
Yes.
They would come for him. And he has that type of arrogance, right? So he's a great player, right? But he has that level of like cockiness, and people don't like cocky. Like, if you're successful and you're cocky, society just generally doesn't like it.
No, because you must be humble.
Any moment to humble you,
they'll take it.
I know, bro.
And if you're giving it to them on a platter like this,
all those shows on Fox and ESPN, I don't speak, bro. Headlines, there were actual games played that night. We're starting with this one. Aaron Rodgers lied, liar, hypocrite. How does this bad?
All the bad names under the sun.
Exactly. What killed me the most is, again, he in his interview in August, he was those ones who are not vaxxed, let's not judge them. And he said,
my man knew.
He knew. He's like, let's not judge them. It's their choice. And I'm just chilling there like, wow, my nigga.
The whole time he was being shady.
The whole time he was being, bro, that's it. Bro, it's literally, what was that guy's name? Derek, man. Remember that guy that cheated and who was always calling out niggas?
I forget his name. And then he had to sit down and have a conversation.
Exactly.
He had a reaction video to his cheating.
Hey, bro, 2021 has been a long year, bro.
Guys, a lot of things have happened this year.
A lot of things have happened.
We need to have like a review episode.
No, we do. Count out everything that happened month to month. But anyway, we got an email, Mr. Moore. And this is what I think we end up going. Actually, okay, let's not over it. But we got an email from a listener. Do you mind reading it if you have it handy?
Yeah. Give me a second because my phone.
Okay, whilst you pull it, whilst you pull it up, what's the ESCOM situation?
Hey, we are being subjected to a load shedding, bro. So for the last
Zim standard.
It's getting there. It's not as bad, but it's getting there. I think the only thing that's good with ESCOM is the timetable, right?
Yeah.
So
At least you can plan for it.
You can plan for it. So they'll tell you it's 2 hours between 4 and 6, or 8 and 6, or 2 and 4. Then you know, which okay. Like I know today we had load shedding at 2 p.m., which I knew was going to affect like my working my working hours. So I worked from literally 9 non-stop until the power left, and I went to do my errands. I went to the bank. I came back in wheel. So I didn't experience it in that way.
2 hours at the bank. Yeah. What the
It's because Anila Mali. I literally had to go open a new account. But whatever.
Bruh, stop acting like you bank with Capitec.
Bruh, it was Standard Bank. There was a long ass queue. But says figure lapa where it's getting to Zesa levels. In the way it's so frequent, and they're escalating the stages as we go on. So usually it'll be like, yeah, you're gonna have load shedding this week, and then we'll have it until the weekend. Weekend we're fine, and then next thing Monday, we regret to inform you that there's going to be rolling blackouts. There's been an error. Something happened. Where? What?
Transformer.
Bruh. That time, most people are working from home, so already you now have to plan around it, right? So I have a UPS. So at work they made us get UPSs that you connect to your Wi-Fi, so at least you stay online during the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, fine, it's something. So I have that, but I know most people are complaining with, hey, guys, do you understand that load shedding means you can't cook, you can't do whatever, you can't do this? And I'm like, and my initial thoughts was, these people are being dramatic. 2 hours load shedding, silly color. What if they start doing you Zan where they hit you at 10 hours?
Fam,
no communication.
Go to sleep with no Zesa, bruh, and you wake up with it gone. Hey, my kids would come in at 2 in the morning and leave at 4.
Bruh, yo, there was a year, I remember that was probably one of the worst school holidays of my life. You know, like when it's a holiday,
bruh,
and you get used to that.
You get so bored, you start doing homework, dog.
Bruh. Like, it starts raining, right? Also, maybe it's December holidays. Zesa's busy with load shedding. It hits you. They start saying, okay, 8 hours. Bro, yahlala for 8 hours until you start saying, yeah, you nap, you wake up, phone battery's dead. That time it's mlilo. So when I was going through it, I was like, why are people being so dramatic? You can plan around this one. But I can understand, I can see ukuthi kwaqala so. And probably Zimbabwe kwaqalisa so. It probably started like this. Where we have the power, and then all of a sudden Tushu, we're having blackouts all the time. And if they're not careful there at ESCOM, they could be faced with a proper power crisis, which the people here may not know how to handle.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing worse than living in a complex, though, during power cut season. At least and plug in your generator and whatever. Here in a flat.
It's late.
Nothing.
You sit in silence.
No, you sit in silence. Make sure your phone's
friends
charged.
with that old bully in your complex.
Cool. I think the best thing is to jola someone who has an alternate schedule to yours.
Yeah, I saw that.
Proper planning that.
Then at least you know you're covered all the time.
But yeah, no, ESCOM, I don't know if renewable energy is the thing that they claim to be ready for. I don't think it is. They mustn't be misled by developed countries. Let us also just catch a break. I found the email, Mr. Maps.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey guys, I was listening to one of the earliest episodes of the podcast, and one of you recommended watching Shaka Zulu. Probably me. I had never watched it, so I did. Thanks. Would you say Shaka was a great leader? And how different is he from the villains, in quotes, of the world, e.g. Hitler, Mussolini, Mugabe, and the million other African dictators? Based on the fact that they all seek dominance and kill people who are different from them, be it tribe, looks, beliefs, way of thinking, what is it then that makes Shaka great?
I think narrative is very, very important in a lot
Narrative.
of these things. Narrative is very big in terms of who gets painted, a devil, and who gets painted, a savior. And I think Tshaka's redeemed because of, obviously that colonial era. The white people were coming, and he tried to, fight back as best as he could, right? Yeah. All that shit was happening. So that whole era, I think, is now then diluted. Whereas if colonialism maybe happened, I don't know, 50 years later, started to happen 50 years later, right? After Tshaka's time, for example. Let's just imagine that. I think maybe the story would have been a little different because it did turn, right? So initially, he starts off great leader, bullhorn formation, Vele, the Ngunis are unstoppable, unite the clans, yeah. And then it took a turn. So if you remove the colonialism, I think, he would be remembered slightly differently, in my opinion. Because even his other lieutenants and his generals were getting fed up with the nigga. Like, chief. Like, chief, no one is fighting you, but you clearly, you want problems
you're
always.
Going a bit senile here.
Yeah.
My take is, I think times differ. Back in Tshaka, I think ruled from early 1800s thereabout. Back then, I don't think democracy was a thing. It wasn't a thing. Every country was ruled by a monarch, or every nation was ruled by a monarch, and they all identified by certain things, which were beliefs and, being from a particular tribe, looking a particular way, being whoever. And killing people in war to achieve that and to grow your kingdom, unfortunately, was commonplace back then.
That was the standard.
That was the standard. And it's across the world, right? It's not just an African thing. It was Europe, Africa, probably in Asia too.
Oh, definitely in Asia.
Countries would be at war with each other to establish their dominance of their particular tribe or nation, etc., right? So you're
saying it's human nature?
No, it was a thing at the time. It was the norm, right? Now, what sets him apart from Umgabe and all these other guys is we then reach the point where we come to the era, I'll say the era in quotes because I don't think it was adopted in full throughout the world, an era of democracy and constitutionalism, right? Where the rule of law and human rights are a thing. The UN itself and the Declaration of Human Rights is less than 100 years old. I think the UN itself is probably replaced the League of Nations in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So in the modern time, so in the modern time, right, when we look at Umgabe, it decided to persist with a brutal rule, even when the world had established human rights principles, even when the world had established a rule of law, or basic things that we can agree on to apply wherever. Constitutionalism, right? Yeah. Whereas back then, in Tshaka's time, it was the norm. What makes him celebrated is that he was the best at it in the region, that is. Like, if you read up on the Mfetsane Wars and all of that, and the way people approached war before Tshaka, it was very different. He kind of changed the whole thing. He was the best of the time. Obviously, if he was doing all those things, invading countries in 2021, he wouldn't be celebrated. We'd be calling him a brutal dictator.
Idi Amin with a spear.
Guy. Yeah, so that's, to answer the question, that's what sets him apart.
I do agree with you. I think, obviously context matters. People who like to remove context, are problematic because you cannot look at something in a vacuum a lot of the time because things are never ever black and white. Rarely are they just straight up, as King Tshaka loves to say, we have to hear his side of the story, not their side of the story. We have to hear the other side of the story. It's very important because otherwise, we'll have an Uncle Waffles situation.
Of course.
We'll have all of these all of these
Projections.
things that will happen. Where it's like, obviously with this listener, this was a very, very intriguing question. I saw that and I was like, oh wow, you know
Yeah.
what? That's interesting. It really is. So that's an absolute. I think that was the Siyazama, but like that was great on your part.
Yeah, shout out to the person who sent that through. We give thanks. So I think whoever sends us thing, maybe they should put a note on whether they want to remain anonymous. So if you want to remain anonymous, say remain anonymous. Otherwise, if not, then unless it's a siyasa.
Or rather, we'll keep you anonymous by default.
Okay,
and
yes. And
if
then
you want to shout out,
just be like, yo,
PS, please shout me out.
Yeah. But we give that.
Let the people know.
It was a cool question because then I started thinking, hey, actually, have I watched the movie this year? But anyways,
I need to. I definitely will do it sometime this year. Speaking of, to wrap things up, I've been rewatching the Harry Potter saga. I've just finished Goblet of Fire. I'm about to start the Order of the Phoenix. Have you seen all of them, or did you just watch a couple? I know you've definitely seen the first two. I know that for a fact.
I've watched all of them, but
okay.
So me and Harry Potter, right? We have this relationship where, and you'll probably hate me for it, but it's fine. I didn't enjoy the movies or the books as much as you guys did at Whitestone, I must say.
Oh! You're pulling an Aaron Rodgers. Those guys.
I did. I read the first two books, and I watched all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, dog. It's a cool story. Like that's all I had. Like
he said cool story, bro. Said that you're rude.
It's a cool story. Like, but it's fascinating watching Harry Potter nerds get into it, and they talk about the what are they called? The Horcruxes and
the Horcruxes,
and all these things, and you're all analyzing it, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, I'm not that deep within personally.
Yeah.
I enjoy the story for what it is.
Yeah.
I will say, I remember being in uni. It's been a while now, and I was in first year, right? And there's one white girl. We were in econ together. We had an econ class together.
Yeah.
And we're walking out of class. And I'm like, hey, so what's your plan for the rest of the day? I'm done with the classes for the day. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I have practice. I'm like, oh shit, you play sports? What do you play? She goes, Quidditch. And I was just like,
what?
So at first it went over my head initially. So I was just kind of like, okay, sharp. And then we kept walking, right? So maybe like a minute or two later, then it hit me. Wait, Quidditch that's the Harry Potter shit, right? The flying broomsticks, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, Chief, did you say Quidditch? She goes, yeah. We play this, we have a whole team, and we play against other schools. Other schools? Like universities? Yes. I was like, oh, like wait. So hold on. How do you guys play Quidditch?
Without
and literally,
broomsticks.
No. They have the items between their legs.
What?
Yeah. They run around. Look it up on YouTube. They run around with the sticks between their legs. I can't remember if it was broomsticks anymore, but I think it was just general sticks between their legs. But they're running on their 2 feet. Again, if you've never seen Harry Potter before, just look up. Just say go on YouTube, Harry Potter Quidditch. Look it up and you'll see what we're talking about. Essentially, what is it? Is it soccer? It's water polo, except you're flying around on a broomstick. I think that's the best way to describe it.
But you're not flying.
But you're not. Well, in the Harry Potter movies and books, they were flying on broomsticks.
Yeah,
but
then in real life, you don't have.
But in real life, you're running around on your 2 legs with a broomstick between your legs.
What's holding the broomstick?
And they play. One hand, is it?
That doesn't even look right in my head.
Again, I hope I'm not. I'm pretty sure they have. I'm
the way I'm visualizing this, it just looks off.
No. I promise you, I can even let me even look it up on YouTube right now. But yeah, like literally, it was a whole thing, and she found no problems with whatever she said to me, and I was so shook, and I was just kind of like, guys, I like Harry Potter. I really dig Harry Potter, like a lot, hey. But you would never ever catch me. If you did play Quidditch, you know, let us know. Come into the comments and you know, show us. Yeah, I've seen. Now I'm looking at UCLA. UCLA, a whole UCLA has a video with their Quidditch team posted 10 years ago, and they're running around with their broomsticks
between their legs.
Between their legs.
Yeah,
proper brooms. Bro, it's mad. I'll send you. I'll DM you the video.
Bro,
now.
There's this thing at work where they ask you which, and they do it on the calls, Shem. And I love my colleagues, Shem, but sometimes when you work with white people, it's cool until the cultural differences begin to, and they show. So it's like, oh, so what Harry Potter house are you in? Like, guys, do you even know them?
Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff.
I know Gryffindor and Slytherin.
What's the other one?
I don't know.
There's a fourth one.
But doesn't everyone just want to be in Harry Potter's house?
I mean, there's quizzes online for that. I think I wanted to be in Slytherin. I can't remember.
You're proper cheese boy. Nah, legit. I think that's the benchmark. Because every time I'm always surprised when they hire someone and then they come into the call and then they're like, "Which Harry Potter house are you?" And then everyone has an answer, and I'm like, "How? Should you mean I'm the only person who doesn't know?"
You spent too much time at Milton, Mr. Boy. You should have come to us earlier.
At Milton, we didn't care about this.
We would have sorted you out. But anyway, to make my point about Harry Potter before we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Rewatching the movies, they still hold up. First of all, quality wise, I think I rewatched it like once a year. I'm still due a Game of Thrones rewatch. I don't know if I'll have time this year because your work is crazy, dog. Fuck. But anyway, that's a side note.
That's another one where the white guys and all y'all cheese boys get really into it, like with the fan theories and costumes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I rewatching this whole Harry Potter thing, bro. Dumbledore was negligent as fuck. All of those teachers, in fact, were negligent as fuck.
Yeah,
like if you go movie by movie, again, obviously it's because J.K. Rowling is writing a kids movie or is writing a kids book, right, where the kids are the protagonists. You get why things happened a certain way. But again, realistically speaking, if you're watching Chamber of Secrets, Dumbledore is literally giving this own hints. When Dumbledore could have just gone into the Chamber of Secrets himself and sorted this shit out.
Yeah.
But like he's literally in each movie egging on Harry Potter to come with him or do something for him and give him a hint and all this other shit. Where I'm like, bro, you are the most powerful wizard in the world. Does it not make sense for you to take on Voldemort?
Yeah. Also,
why is it
that nigga Snape didn't have to be that mean to Harry just to protect him? I'm like, bro.
Yo, Snape was my guy, bro. Snape is hilarious.
You were a dick for that long just because you were saving him. I'm like, hi, guys.
No, but it's because Snape loved Harry's mom. And, it was a case of unrequited love.
Yo, God forbid some other guy loves my wife in that way.
There probably is, Chief. Look, it's mad. It was mad. Like that whole throuple is nah. I would love to see a proper, what's this thing called? What is it called when the movies go backwards? What is it called, man?
I have no idea.
Senna, like when there's how there's Lord of the Rings and then there's the Hobbit series prequel.
I'd love to see prequel.
Yes, I'd love to see a
movies
prequel
goes backwards. So when you said when movies go backwards, I'm thinking, okay, what's it called when the movie starts from the end to the beginning?
Oh my god! No, when we go back in time, I think is what I meant to say. But yeah, I'd love to see a prequel with Harry's mom and dad, like them in school with Tom Riddle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like, or how Voldemort became Voldemort and became so feared.
Yeah.
It's the one that they gave us now, Fantastic Beasts, is useless. It's a waste of time. Absolutely.
Is it
I don't care.
The fast forward one that goes
you know.
like in future?
No, it's not in future. It's it's before. So it's when Dumbledore was still like in his 30s.
I think there's one
situation.
one book that I bought for someone that had them when they're now grown up or some shit.
I think there is one book when they're grown up, and you know, and again, I'm not even interested in that, because unless they're at Hogwarts, unless, I mean, again, you can make it a good story, you know, I'd be interested, but I think, you know, Harry Potter is definitely to go. Obviously, you have the aid of a book series, but to go 7 movies deep, and it's hit after hit after hit, you have to respect. You have to respect that. And then also, guys, watch, this is a Netflix recommendation from me, The Harder They Fall. Absolutely fantastic movie.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. They got the Black All-Stars to come together. I saw the cast and I was like, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Black people are talented.
The story is a bit light, but the graphics and the scenes are really dope.
But then it was, I don't know if it was a Quentin Tarantino type of vibe, you know? I really liked it.
Yeah, if it was a Quentin Tarantino movie, there'd have been more nigger words in that. There'd be more N-words. There'd have been
definitely more blood. But I mean, again, it was a very stark, because it was a black thing. You know, there were white people there, but they were on the side. You know, they just kind of. It was nice. I liked it. I really, really liked what they went for. So if you have a Netflix registration or you're a mooch, then go to Netflix and, you know, watch The Harder They Fall. It's a really good movie.
I watched it last night. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, right, Mr. Moyo. I think we've done what we've needed to do.
Obvious, of course.
We have put in a good shift. So we'll say it again. As usual, guys, like the ting, retweet the ting, subscribe to the ting. Otherwise, we're inclined to believe you are ahead. Mr. Moyo.
Laters.